For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. President Joe Biden delivers his third State of the Union address today and will promote his vision for a second term as president with a plan that would raise corporate taxes to trim budget deficits and cut taxes for the middle class. Aides say the president will contrast his vision for America with Republican plans to further cut corporate tax rates and extend expiring tax breaks that Republicans passed during Donald Trump's presidency. Some of the nation's largest youth organizing groups called on the president to adopt their vision for the future at a press conference Wednesday outside of Congress, calling it the Finish the Job Youth Agenda. A statement from the coalition of groups like Sunrise Movement, Gen Z, and March for Our Lives said from combating climate change, protecting democracy, and ending gun violence to securing permanent protections for immigrant communities and calling for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, young people are once again demanding President Biden fight for our lives and protect our futures. Independent Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and New York Congressman Jamal Bowman was among the lawmakers to join their call.
There are people sleeping out on the street. Part of 600,000 Americans are homeless. We are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. Our child care system is now collapsing. Women's rights.
We understand that there are many out there who feel disgusted by the system, jaded by the system. You don't trust the system, and we understand why, and we agree with you. And this is why we are doing everything we can to fight back with organizers and activists across the country to hold this place where I worked and this political system accountable for what it hasn't done over the years as it relates to immigrants, marginalized people, poor people, the black community, and so many others.
The coalition sent its demands in a letter to President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. The coalition says they fought hard to push the Biden administration to back key priorities, including the American Climate Corps, the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, and the pause of liquid natural gas exports. And they say there's more work to be done if the president and the administration wants to earn the support of young voters. Last February was the hottest on record, making it the 9th consecutive month to break global heat records, according to the European Union's climate agency, Copernicus. The agency's scientists say the winter as a whole and the world's oceans set a new high temperature mark, clearly signs of long-term human-caused global warming from the burning of coal, oil, and gas, along with a boost from a natural El Nino warming of the Central Pacific that alters weather worldwide. The Washington Post is reporting the Biden administration has quietly approved and sent more than 100 separate foreign military sales to Israel, amounting to thousands of precision-guided munitions, small-diameter bombs, bunker busters, small arms, and other lethal aid, according to U.S. officials who spoke at a classified briefing with members of Congress. California progressive Democrat Ro Khanna blasted the sale, speaking with the Washington Post Wednesday.
I'm really concerned. I don't think it makes any sense to have a policy where we're airlifting food into Gaza and at the same time providing precision missiles to kill women and children in Gaza.
He says the sales fly in the face of president's new policy that bars the transfer of weapons to human rights violators, citing Joe Biden's own words of Israel indiscriminately bombing women and children in Gaza. Earlier this week, State Department spokesman Matt Miller said Israel's blocking food aid from entering Gaza. At least 18 children have died in Gaza from starvation. Canada says it will restore funding to UNRWA, the United Nations Relief Agency for Palestinians. And Norway's foreign minister says many European nations are considering a similar move amidst child starvation in Gaza. About 16 nations cut major support for UNRWA, crippling the agency after Israel accused 12 UNRWA staff out of its 13,000 in Gaza of participating in the October 7th Hamas attacks on southern Israel. Israel has yet to provide proof to the UN of that. UNRWA, in a statement, accused Israel of detaining several of its staff members and forcing them, using torture and ill treatment, into giving false confessions about the links between the agency, Hamas, and the October 7th attack. More than 150 of its staff members have been killed since Israel invaded Gaza. The head of UNRWA earlier this week accused Israel of trying to destroy the relief agency for Palestinians. Philippe Lazzarini spoke before the United Nations.
The fate of the agency and the millions of people who depend on it hang in the balance. UNRWA is facing a deliberate and concerted campaign to undermine its operations and ultimately end them. I'm not advocating for UNRWA to exist forever. The agency was always meant to be temporary. It is a stain on our collective conscience that for 75 years, UNRWA has had to fill a vacuum left by the lack of a political solution and a genuine peace.
Israel now says it's identified 450 UNRWA staff members who are connected to militant groups in Gaza. Lazzarini said Israel provided no proof of that either. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.